Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Speak English Now, your favorite podcast for mastering real, natural English. I am Mark, and sitting right across from me is the wonderful Diana.
Hi, Mark. It is so great to be here, and a huge welcome to our incredible community listening from all corners of the world. Before we unlock today's brilliant topic, we have a very quick request. If our episodes are helping you on your English journey, please take 1 second to hit that like button and subscribe to the Speak English Now channel. Clicking that subscribe button makes a massive difference for us, so thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all. Your support keeps us going strong. Now, Diana, today we are tackling the holy grail of language learning. It is the ultimate goal of every English student. We are talking about how to stop translating in your head and start thinking directly in English.
Oh, this is the big one, Mark. Almost every single intermediate learner I talk to complains about this. They say, Diana, when I want to speak, my brain takes the Arabic or my native language sentence, translates it word for word into English, checks the grammar, and only then do I speak. It is so slow and exhausting.
It really is like running a double marathon in your brain just to say, I'm hungry. Translating in your head makes your speech slow, it makes you sound unnatural, and honestly, it takes all the fun out of speaking. Today, we are going to give you 3 simple practical exercises you can start doing today to reprogram your brain to think directly in English.
Let's first understand why translating word for word is a trap. The main issue is that different languages have completely different structures and cultural contexts. If you translate literally, you will end up making mistakes that don't make sense in English.
Exactly. For example, in Arabic, if you want to say you missed a bus, you might literally think, the bus went on me. If you translate that directly to English, you say, the bus went on me, and a native speaker will look at you very confused, wondering if the bus physically ran you over.
Exactly. Or when someone says, I have 20 years, instead of I am 20 years old, because they are translating directly from French or Spanish. Word-for-word translation simply doesn't work. To speak naturally, you have to connect the concept or the image directly to the English word, bypassing your native language entirely.
But how do we actually do that? It sounds easy to say just think in English, but how does a person actually switch off their native language brain? Let's start with our very first practical exercise, the naming game.
The naming game is the perfect starting point because it requires zero grammar. You don't need to know tenses or sentence structures.
How does it work, Diana?
It is incredibly simple. Look around the room you are in right now. Instead of seeing an object and thinking of its name in your native language, name it directly in English in your head. Don't look at a cup and think koob, then cup. Look at the physical object and think cup. Look at the window, window. Your desk, desk. Your phone, phone.
This is brilliant because you are building a direct bridge between the physical reality and the English word. You are cutting out the middleman, which is your native language.
Exactly. Do this for just 2 minutes a day. When you are walking down the street, name things you see. Car, tree, dog, sky, shop, bicycle. Once this becomes easy, you can upgrade to simple 2-word descriptions. For example, instead of just car, you can think red car. Instead of tree, think tall tree.
This is like stretching your muscles before a workout. It trains your brain's quick retrieval system. It teaches your mind that English is a tool to label the world around you, not just a school subject.
Once you are comfortable naming individual objects, it is time to move to the next level. This is where you start talking to yourself in very simple, short sentences. We mentioned this briefly in our previous episodes, but today we want to show you how to use it specifically to stop translation.
The key here is simplicity. Do not try to have deep philosophical debates with yourself in English. That will force you to translate. Instead, just narrate your daily life like a storybook.
Yes, use the present continuous or simple future tenses because they are the easiest. For example, when you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, I am getting up now. I am making tea. The water is hot. Where are my keys? Ah, here they are.
Look at how effortless those sentences are. None of them have more than 5 words. By doing this out loud or silently in your head, you are teaching your brain to construct sentences automatically. You are practicing grammar without opening a grammar textbook.
And the beauty of this exercise is that there is absolutely no pressure. If you make a mistake, who cares? No one is listening. It is just you and your tea. This buildup of stress-free practice is what eventually allows you to speak smoothly when you are actually talking to another person.
Now let's talk about a habit that is keeping millions of learners stuck in the translation trap: Using bilingual dictionaries.
Oh, Mark, this is a huge pet peeve of mine. When a student sees a new English word, the very first thing they do is type it into a translator to get the direct translation in their native language.
Why is that a problem?
Because it reinforces the idea that English words are just codes for your native language. It forces your brain to keep translating. Instead, as soon as you reach an intermediate level, you must switch to an English-to-English dictionary.
Yes, an English-to-English dictionary, like Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary or Cambridge Learner's Dictionary, defines English words using very simple, basic English words that you already know.
Let's look at an example. If you look up the word gigantic in a bilingual dictionary, you get the direct translation. But if you look it up in an English-to-English Learner's Dictionary, it says very, very big.
That is so much better. You already know the words very and big. So by reading that definition, you are expanding your vocabulary using English, which keeps your brain in English mode. You are not dropping back into your native language. It is a complete game changer for your mindset.
Another golden rule to stop translating in your head is to stop memorizing long lists of single, isolated words.
This is a mistake we see all the time. Students make flashcards with one word on them, like interested. But when they want to use it in a sentence, they don't know which preposition to use. They think, I am interested in, on, at, and then they freeze and start translating.
Exactly. Instead of memorizing the word interested, memorize the entire phrase or chunk. I'm interested in.
Yes, or instead of memorizing mind, memorize never mind. Would you mind? I changed my mind.
When you memorize these prepackaged chunks of language, your brain doesn't have to build the sentence from scratch. It just grabs the whole chunk and throws it into the conversation. It is incredibly fast, and it requires zero translation.
As we reach the end of today's conversation, we want to remind you to be patient with yourself. Reprogramming your brain to think in a new language is like building a new path in a forest. At first, the path is covered in trees and bushes. It is hard to walk on, and you naturally want to go back to the old, comfortable highway of your native language.
That is a beautiful metaphor, Mark. But the more you walk on that new English path, by playing the naming game, talking to yourself, and using English-to-English dictionaries, the clearer and wider that path becomes. Eventually, it becomes your primary, most comfortable highway.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Speak English Now. We hope these practical tips help you break free from the translation trap.
They definitely will if you practice them. And speaking of practice, let's start right now in our comment section.
Yes, here is your challenge for this week. Look around you right now. Pick 3 things you see and write their names directly in English in the comments. Or write one simple sentence describing what you are doing right now, like, I am watching this video, or I am drinking coffee. No translating, just pure, simple English.
We can't wait to see your comments. And remember, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a like, leave your comment, and hit that subscribe button to support Speak English Now. Share this episode with your friends who are also trying to think in English.
Keep it simple, stop translating, and keep speaking. We will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Goodbye.